Good morning, Sri Lanka. Welcome back to the show. Now, we here on GMSL are very concerned about making your life better and helping you live a healthier life. And that's why we have so many segments, right, Wassam, on health as well as well-being.
And of course, today being a Monday morning, this morning we've been discussing the topic of stress. And also, just before
Mondays and stress seem to go hand in hand.
Break, Amaya, we were discussing that stress is actually a good thing, and it can help you as a motivator in terms of getting your productivity levels up as well. And the doctor here was explaining to us that, you know, if you stress people out too much, your productivity level actually goes down. Now, just to focus a few negative aspects on stress. One thing you mentioned earlier is the fact that stress is not a disease or a disorder. But is it possible that stress can be a symptom towards a problem, a medical condition?
The other way around. Stress can be a cause of a disorder.
Okay.
Stress may cause depression or a relapse of a mental illness, or even some of the physical illnesses may be exacerbated because of stress.
I see. And what are the most common issues you've come across?
As a result of stress, excessive stress, yes. What happens with now, if you remember that stress performance graph, when you go past the ideal stress, the eustress, then the stress is bad, then the stress is negative. And then you may have simply burnt out people who cannot perform anymore now, even if the stress is reduced, they are kind of, you know, their capacity has reduced. And then you can have people developing depressive disorder, which is a psychiatric illness, or people who did have a psychiatric illness may have a relapse of that illness. Then people who have diabetes or, you know, these other chronic long-term diseases, the control of the disease may become less with stress, so after stress or a big stress or a non-healthy stress, which is beyond eustress. So those are the common things that happen.
And I've been often told that, for example, even if it's a physical problem, for example, even if you have, say, a wound in your body, a cut, and usually, you know, say something that can heal in 2 days or dry up in 2 days, and they say that if you're mentally stressed out or if you're not in a good place, sometimes the healing process takes longer. Is it true?
There is some evidence to support that the immunity of the body is decreased when you're under a lot of stress. So immunity, the immune reactions are needed for things like healing of wounds and even killing cancer cells.
I see.
So if you are under stress excessively, that is the key word here, beyond that ideal stress mark, the eustress, beyond that, and excessively, you know, persistently, long periods of time, that may cause negative outcomes like chronic impairment in your immune reactions, which may be linked, it's not fully proven, but which may be linked with disorders like cancer. Yes.
I see. So on that note, then managing stress becomes extremely important, especially the lifestyle that we lead day to day. So doctor, can you give us a few steps on how people can go about managing stress in their daily lives?
Yes, it's a very big, complex topic. So what I would do today is to concentrate on one aspect of it. That is, we know that stress can be caused by many stressors, like we just as we discussed a few minutes back. One common source of stress or stressors is interpersonal issues. We have to deal.
Doctor, you give us a few slides also. Would you like us to put them up now?
Yes. So what I'm going to talk about now is how we are going to deal with other people more effectively, so you have less stress in life. So if you look at the first slide, which the key, the principle here is that the foundation, the basic concept I'm using here is how you treat yourself and others when you are dealing with people, which you have to do all the time in our lives. So if I am okay and other person is okay or not. So now, so the first slide shows that okay, I am okay. If we go on to the next slide, which should show what the others would be feeling. So and then if I'm okay, others okay. If I'm not okay, others not okay. You know, like that, I'm going to describe 4 ways which we commonly deal with people. So if you move to the next slide as well, which shows us that the next slide would show us that the first kind of these 4 ways, which I call the passive way of dealing with people. If you look at the slide, you would see that the passive way is where I'm not okay, but others are okay. So I want to make others happy. I don't care what happens to me. I'm not bothered about what I wish, what I want, what I need, what is best for me. All I want to do is to please others, which is called the passive way of dealing with others. And the next way, which we would see in the next slide, is that I am okay, others are not. I don't care what happens to others. As far as I'm all right, I'm happy. So which is called the aggressive, top left hand side word, you would see aggressive way, where I am okay, others are not. I'm not bothered. So I am aggressive, I am violent, it may be physical violence, it may be verbal violence. I'll get my way, whatever happens to others. So that is the aggressive way of dealing with people.
So these are the 2 common types of reactions that people will have to deal with.
There is another common type, which is even more interesting than these 2, which is the passive aggressive way, where I'm not okay, I'm not happy, but I wouldn't let you be happy either.
I see.
Right?
Difficult personalities there.
Yes, very difficult to deal with these people. Right? I'm not okay, I'm not happy, I wouldn't let you be happy either. I would do something. I would have a long face for 2 days. Right? I wouldn't eat for 2 meals. Right? I would hurt you. I would not let you be happy. The worst thing here is the other person doesn't know why this person is having a long face now, right? And if asked, wouldn't tell.
All right.
Because you're not talking, you're having a long face. You're not going to tell why you are angry, right? This is passive aggression. This is even more difficult to deal with than aggression, because when you're aggressive, you know that this person is aggressive and why probably the person is aggressive.
Yes.
You can call the police. Passive aggressiveness is the most difficult thing. Okay, the 4th way is the best, which is I'm okay. If you look at the slides again, we would see I'm okay and others are okay. So I'm happy, I know what I want, I try to get what I want, but not by hurting others. I let others be happy as well. But you can't make sure that all the people would be happy all the time in your life. But most of them would be happy. Then there is the assertive way, which is the best way, which is the least stressful way to deal with people.
I see. So these are the approaches that you can take.
I need to ask you this also, Doctor. Now, many times you've come across people using this term nervous breakdown.
Yep.
Has that got anything to do with stress?
What they mean by that is a problem. Now, some passive aggressive people may use that, right? So let's say that they have some additional work to do at their workplace. So 2 people have to do additional work. One, the assertive person, takes it up, okay, I'll do it, and he does it. And the other person wants to somehow shy away from this. So, you know, the passive aggressive person may have a long face and see whether he can avoid the responsibility. If not, might complain that I am having a nervous breakdown and I can't do this, and you know. So it is another word that has been abused. But of course, somebody who has had depression may not know the word depression and come and tell you that I have a nervous breakdown, which may be a clinical depression.
So what is a nervous breakdown? Is it actually related with stress?
It is just a lay term. I don't know what it really means. It depends on the person who uses it. So it is sometimes used to denote an episode of a mental illness.
Okay.
Right,
so it may be a depression and somebody calls it a nervous breakdown. Or you just are not happy. and you call it a nervous breakdown for your, using it as an excuse for your benefit.
But if I have a family member or friend who, when you see someone, you can tell that I know a few people who may be categorized as passive-aggressive or even aggressive. So how can you help someone go from that stage to being assertive?
Yes.
And really making the transition?
Yes, that's very important. I think the first thing you need to do is to analyze, to see yourself. And to try to recognize which way you use. It's not four mutually exclusive ways. We all have all these four ways in us, but one is usually prominent in one person. Some people are more passive aggressive, some people are more aggressive. So try to recognize that in yourself and then see what I need to do. So if you are not very assertive, if you are mostly passive, you need to become assertive. If you are mostly aggressive, you need to become assertive. Then only you can help others. If you are not assertive, you can't help others to become assertive. So that is the first step.
And also, doctor, people say that taking a jog or doing some exercise regularly would really help your self to get out of excess stress. Like that, is that true? And if so, like that, are there any other things people can do just by themselves, maybe physically even?
Yes, there are simple steps, that is mainly the main principle underlying all these simple advice is distraction. If you distract yourself from the stressor, you feel you have temporary relief, which is not long lasting, which is not a deep solution. So we didn't talk about other stressors like stress because of the heat or whatever. We were mainly talking about interpersonal stress because of you're having to deal with other people. For that, the best is becoming assertive. There is no substitute for that.
So does something like meditation or yoga for that matter help? Because these holistic approaches are always recommended by different specialists. But
meditation can be used to become more assertive.
I see.
To be assertive, you need to be aware of what you are doing. So now your friend is saying that why don't you do my work as well? And you have said yes and agreed. And only 2 days later you realize, my goodness, what I have done. I have said yes, now I can't say no.
Taking on to your responsibilities.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you should have realized at the point that you were saying yes, it may not have been even a yes, it may have been just a nod, or it may have been just a silence. So you need to be mindful of what you do. For that, meditation may actually help.
I see.
Of course. And I think we have enough time for one more question. So if I could just ask you now, children undergo a lot of stress as well in their school life, and so much competition happening in school. So how can parents really incorporate different ways to reduce the amount of stress that their children face?
Yes. Briefly, the biggest harm coming to children is that their assertiveness is destroyed at a very young budding age. Because of all these excessive work and too many rules and regulations and teachers and parents trying to control their every single movement. 6:45 social studies, 7 p.m. Buddhism, 7:15, it's like that at home. In school you need to have a structure. So parents need to be assertive first to help their children to continue to be assertive, because children are born assertive. You don't have to give assertiveness to them. Just do not kill their assertiveness. For that, the parents have to be assertive. Otherwise, they would say, that person would say this, that teacher would say that, and they go on and kill the assertiveness of the children. So they need to be assertive first. That is the answer.
So great message given out this morning on Good Morning Sri Lanka. Be assertive and take charge of all the situations that you are in.
I see, yeah. And it seems like one thing we need to take out from today is, stress is not a bad thing. Make sure you stay stressed, but to the right level.
Of course. So I think we've come to the end of this show. Thank you so much, Doctor, for being with us. And
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll have you on many other shows as well to speak about different topics.
Yep. Well, thank you, and have a stress-free Monday.
Good morning.